Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site, links are in the description down below, and we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by All Time Low, and that's Last Young Renegade song. I refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So after really disliking Dirty Laundry and their very typical approach to these dull EDM ballads that everyone are doing at the moment, just look at Linkin Park and Weezer and their last few tunes, I went into this track perhaps not as hopeful as I really wanted to be. As I've said before, All Time Low haven't quite resonated with me nearly as much as many of those other acts from that golden era of sort of pop rock music during the early 2010s, but there is always room to develop and grow as musicians, so shall we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, it's fine, and I'm glad they kept to a more organic approach this time around, but it is very cheesy and very predictable to me. Everything from the lyrics to the melodies unfold exactly like you'd imagine, and there really isn't much deviation from the very typical format, the typical all-time low format this time around. I think it has a little more impact to it than Dirty Laundry, and it is a better track than Dirty Laundry, and some more familiar qualities showcased by the performances, so it's more stylistic of the group, but it's just a load of strumming and cheesy teen words in like a little collective. Quite frankly, it's what I expected rather than what I truly wanted. I think fans will enjoy this song, but for the casual listener, I'm sort of stuck for finding anything which would really pull them in. Production-wise, the track is a little plastic for me and a little too tampered with as well, but it's certainly not bad. Thankfully, we didn't get any dull 808 presets this time around, and we actually do have some organic percussion. Isn't it nice to hear some real acoustic drums? Some decent organic percussion at that as well. The kick drum carries the low end pretty well, actually, beating away the pulse with a depth and wholesomeness to it, exactly what I wanted to hear in that low ground. The guitars do fill the stereo field and mid ground fairly well, but they possess completely forgettable and yawn-inducing tones that are overdriven, but they're overdriven in the sense that they are just filling noise like templates rather than anything else. The bass guitar is also a little limp for me, but that's down to it being strummed in the performance, meaning that its twang and its softness and its sort of flexibility is gone anyway. The vocals are decent though, and I'm glad they were left a little more natural this time around, so all in all a pretty strong production cycle really. When it comes to the musicality of this track, it is a little more enthusiastic and passionate than the last few tracks I've listened to this week especially, but it is very much your usual radio rock time filler. Let's just say it's so generic that you probably wouldn't even notice it if it came onto your radio whilst you're in the car, and if you're a casual listener to the group you probably wouldn't even recognise the group despite it being actually quite stylistic of their discography. The vocal melodies have catchy moments, I will say that, but the extended sequences are a little boring and safe. The guitar strumming is again quite safe for me and pretty darn boring. The progressions in general actually with the guitar, with the bass, are very dull and uninspired, and the track just goes with the bare minimum rather than really experimenting. I know they tried experimenting with this sort of EDM sound, as I've already mentioned, which didn't really work out, so it's not that I'm against experimenting, but I didn't even cite that as being really experimental, because how does it class as being experimental if you're just doing the same sound as everyone else is doing? Just because it's new to you or your group doesn't mean it's really experimenting with anything new. So for a song like this though, you need that sort of one powerful or memorable element slash aspect, that one significant moment to make the rest of the track feel worth sitting through and feel as if it's all developed. And we never really got that here, though, as the song form sort of felt sort of copy and pasted for me, and each piece just felt like it had been done before with and there was no decoration added either, or variation, as I've already mentioned, so it meant that the song was a little bit stale. If you compare this to You, Me at Six's sort of latest album, I know a lot of that album is pretty ropey itself, but they had a song called Give, which is quite similar to this actually, a very similar band going for a very similar approach. In that track we got a bit more weight and substance behind it, but we had this massive hook that was memorable regardless of whether you're a big fan of the group or any elements which they typically use. It was just something memorable and different to what they usually do, something to centre the song around, and it had sort of aspects of regression and individualization about it, but we didn't really get too much of that on this track in particular. Lyrically, the track has better moments than others, but we can all agree that that bridge and chorus, yeah, the lyrics on that are pretty terrible. So cliche and so cheesy, befitting of, say, 2007 rather than 2017, so about a decade outdated. So all in all, a pretty average track, which has moments to spark off, but instead it decides to play it a bit more safe and over again. So I gave it a G rating of 5 out of 10, which is straight down the middle, pretty average really. If you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.